Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Just going for a bit of a brisk walk on this fine winter's day. A bit cold out. Just wanted to have a chat. I feel like things are getting really intense these days. Everyone's so stressed about their lives, the world, money, politics. I feel like I used to stay very much out of that. I will blame COVID for that. I think a lot of people went through that. Nothing better to do than essentially get on our phones and just consume all the incoming media. And like I always say, social media is a double-edged sword. The technology brings us all together, but it also brings you such a wealth of information. Sometimes it's overwhelming. But when I talk about mainstream media, I'm also very saddened by it, that I feel like I really was suckered into the fact that I thought every journalist is a real journalist, and I'm not saying that that they're not, and they didn't get into that line of work without having the passion and the altruistic, endeavors to do the right thing and to be a true journalist, which is, unless you're doing just editorial puff pieces, a journalist is really to report the truth. And like I said before, that's a hard thing to come by when, especially in mainstream media, when you're trying to report something and the ad coming up next is for the very people that are funding you. That's just a fact of life. Commercial television, whether it's television or radio, whatever media it's streaming on, if you're working for any sort of mainstream corporation, they've got to pay the employees. I get it. You got to get paid. And that comes from advertising, and advertising comes from all of the big corporations, which both provide us, they both giveth and taketh away. Big tech, big pharma. So, you're trying to talk about COVID vaccines, and you're trying to report something that may very well be factual, but unfortunately, you get in trouble, because if you actually speak the truth about certain things, and it goes against the bottom line of the corporation, like Pfizer, and coming up next, an ad for Pfizer. Yeah, that's a tough one. So mainstream media in general, I think we're all cottoning on to the fact that it's hard to swallow what they're giving us. An old adage you may have heard from Roman times: give the people bread and circuses and they'll want for nothing. I've said this before, and it holds true today. Before, maybe it was bread and circuses, make sure they're fed and give them entertainment, and they won't really notice what's going on behind the scenes. It's really the same thing today. As long as you're all content to go on your phones and buy stuff and order stuff from IKEA and get little packages in the mail and go out on the weekend and try to spend the little amount that you can left over from all your bills and your mortgage and your car payments and the kids going to school and the backpacks and the pencils and the pens, whatever you've got left over, maybe you splurge and you go to McDonald's, or you go have a donut and a milkshake. They figure we're just content with that, and I'm not saying we're not, especially in America or any Western civilization. I'm in Australia, same thing. We're pretty lucky, yes. But at the same time, I think you can all feel the vice grips tightening. And that's the part that annoys me. They want you to be distracted, and they want you to be happy with the little things. They want the bar to be lowered. And again, we are pretty lucky. There's people in third world countries who have it much harder. And I think a lot of young people bitch and complain about the very country that allows them the freedom to bitch and complain. But anyway, I think the problem is one of them. It's always this great divide between the super billionaires who are flying around in their private jets, going to these conferences, going to these world economic forums, and they have opinions about everything that we have to do to fix the world from our evil ways, while they don't have to change a thing. And also they want to impose whatever it is, whether it's climate change. I'm not a climate change denier, but at this moment we are still very much in a fossil fuel, oil-driven, coal-powered world. I don't care what electric car you hop into, that is powered by fossil fuels somewhere. Yes, at some point we certainly do need to get away from that, but it needs to come in a natural evolution. Put the smart people in a room and have them figure it out. Until then, why is it always the billionaires who say all of us commoners, all the middle class, we have to suffer, so that they can say, oh, we dropped it 0.5%. You know, their private jet, one trip overseas in their private jet, your car in its entire lifetime wouldn't expel the carbons and the carbon footprint that one private jet puts out. Okay, so I'm just saying, put it into perspective. You know, the billionaires still get to jet set around telling us what we have to do because we're so evil. But what about all like the military, the giant military complex? Oh, no, don't mess with that. God forbid you mess with their spending. Imagine how much the military, imagine how much, you know, emissions all of their machines have. Not to mention countries like China and India, who would never conform to any of this climate control crap anyway. They're just going to keep doing what they do, and their industry will continue, and their businesses will grow, and their money will grow, while, you know, the little guy feels the pinch. And for what? For not even the tiniest change in any climate change, just for, you know, turning off your gas. So anyway, that part is annoying when it's sort of the rules are you know, only for thee and not for me kind of mentality. But when you talk about that, you know, if you bring that up, you know, people get triggered. Oh, you're a Nazi, you're racist. I don't know how you always end up a Nazi, but if you go against any narrative, you're in trouble. That's annoying too. What happened to the world of looking at the facts presented and having a debate about what's the best way forward? What's the solution? There's no debate anymore. You just have to say yes, and you have to nod your head. If you go against it, you're in trouble. And yeah, that gets old. And I think of things like Tucker Carlson, now out on his own, Jimmy Dore, you know, some of these people who are very outspoken, and you know, they wouldn't get a mainstream channel. They wouldn't be on CNN or even Fox. Like I couldn't even believe Fox got rid of Tucker Carlson, but as you can see, he'll do quite fine on Twitter. You know, millions of views and followers easily. You know, rose celebrities like Russell Brand. Again, I'm surprised that I've seen his sort of evolution, just from being a sort of an eccentric actor to someone who's really quite brilliant and articulate, and also very fair. You know, or someone like Joe Rogan. If this is where we're going to get our information from now, I tell you, it's not so bad, because at least all of these people give an option for both sides to speak their piece. And that's what I thought journalism used to be, about finding the truth, no matter where the truth led to, and having an honest, impartial debate. And that doesn't happen anymore. So now, you know, we tend to find our truth where we can, and I say good on you, and I hope to see more of that. You find your truth where you can. And there's the fact checkers. Well, you be your own fact checker. If you're passionate about a subject or you're not sure about it, you find as much as you can about that particular subject, and you make that choice for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And I talked about before, like the war machine. It's funny, you know, I'm an American, and I have great pride in America and great pride in military. But that's different than the war machine. For having pride in someone who's in the Army or the Marines or the Navy, the men and the women that go and they serve, you know, in the military, and they are basically there to help each other and fight for the man or woman next to them and keep themselves alive. Of course, I support that and have pride in that. It's the war machine, you know, the one that decides it needs to choose wars based on an income. And again, I don't think that'll ever change. That's been going on since the beginning of war itself. War is profitable. It is what it is. That's going to be a tough one to change. But unfortunately, even that, you can't have a debate about it because you're in trouble. And like the upcoming elections, I think this is a serious thing. And also, it's so divisive, so left or right. Oh, if you even say for a minute, oh, Trump had a point. Oh my God, you're a right-wing nut. You're a Nazi. You're a supremacist. Oh my God. Again, that man has a lot of flaws. All humans have flaws. All politicians, by the way, all politicians are just, you know, liars. I'm sorry. I don't care where you started, but when you end up in politics, it's usually never good. And you get a rare one that might tell the occasional truth. But they're mostly just liars, bad salesmen, and carpetbaggers. And the thing about Trump, the only reason why, and especially the government hates him, is because he had no real stake in the game as far as he has his own money. He has his own power. He was giving away the game. He was giving away the truth. And when he would speak out against the Ukraine and being involved in that war with Russia and being involved with that skirmish in general, why are we even involved? When he would speak out against that, well, he was in deep shit with the war machine. You can't go against the war machine or you're out. So that's the sad part, that today we can't even have a simple debate about things without being canceled. And whether it's, you know, whatever ideology is going around, whether it's climate change or the war machine, or just talking about finances in general, talking about how, you know, there's companies like BlackRock and Vanguard. These guys own billionaires. These guys own politicians. And again, this all comes from facts. This isn't conspiracy theory. And even look up, there's that video where one of the people working for BlackRock basically said, oh yeah, they just buy politicians. They said they could buy a senator for $10,000. $10,000. I'm just saying, that's a pretty low bar, and that's not that much. So if you can buy a senator for $10,000, I'm pretty sure you could buy a president for not too much more. And that's just some scary shit. And they're the ones that they make the rules because they have the money. And unfortunately, I guess what I'm trying to say is I still see money as the huge divide. And those in control, they really think that we're all complacent, and especially COVID. COVID certainly brought out, I don't know, the best and worst in people, but it showed those in power how well we would conform. And that's a scary thing. Just think about that. Everyone conformed really well to all the lockdowns and all the vaccination mandates. And I think the people performed better than they thought. And that's not a good thing. It means that we're really susceptible to control. If we have our phones, we have internet, we have our social media, we have the basics, even working from home. Don't even need a car. Just take away all your freedoms. Again, think about freedom. What does that really mean? Because they don't want you to have it. When they want to get rid of your car, oh, buy an electric car. I can't afford one. I'll just work from home then. Oh yeah, that sounds cool. I like working from home. Yeah, again, that's a double-edged sword. That's give and take. They don't want you to go anywhere. They don't want you to travel. They just want you to be a consumer, buy their product, stay at home, don't move, don't think, and certainly don't look for news outside the mainstream media. Again, if all these things seem like conspiracy theories to you, well, I'm a bit sad for you, because I don't think you are awake to the new world. You want to be woke? I'd rather be awake. I think you need to awaken yourself to what's happening. And no, it's not all negative, but I'm just saying be aware of it. Be aware of where you put your trust. And especially in this upcoming election, whoever you vote for, just make sure it's the person that you think will actually speak for you. The person who will actually speak for you, your family, your town, when they make the laws, when they make the decisions. That's the other thing that people forget. They think the government is this oligarchy that's just, the dictatorship. Okay, the current White House is certainly like a dictatorship, but it doesn't need to be like that. The people are in charge. A government by the people, for the people. So, just remember, when you're starting to feel a bit down, you do have control. Take control where you can. And like I say, start small. Start small with yourself, with your family, with the decisions you make, with your community. Get involved. For people who are thinking about getting into a business, do it 100%. It's another thing big government and dictatorships don't like, which is sad, because that's what America's based on, is about having a strong community, strong local businesses. Go for it. Don't be stupid about it. Be smart about it, but give it a go. Just work on the things you can. And when it comes to something like elections, even in your town, in your city, the mayor, the governor, all of these things are your decisions. Try to make the right decisions. Really. Don't be so divisive. Doesn't have to be Republican or Democrat. You can vote for whomever you want. Just vote for the person that you think still is going to speak for you. And I don't know. Good luck with that one. Anyway, that's all I have for the moment. Just some thoughts. I hope you enjoyed, and talk to you next time. Bye.